My name is Robyn Siegel, and welcome to the Mortgage Minute. Today, we're going to talk about credit scores. Having a good credit score is very important to you when you're borrowing money, applying for a job, getting insurance, and even going and opening up a new checking account at the bank. Here, I want to talk about credit scores in relation to borrowing money. If you need to borrow money, you really need to have a decent credit score. But let me give you a little bit of a backstory and tell you what a credit score is. A credit score is an algorithm. It's a mathematical formula that measures your ability to pay your bills compared to everybody else that also has a credit score in the United States. Not everybody has a credit score, so we only compare against those that do. It's also known as a FICO score. This is an acronym for Fair, Isaac & Company, which is the company that created the formula to create your credit score. Yes, they named it after themselves. Regardless, remember, it's just a number. This number has a range from 450 to 850. 850 is the best. Perfect. Nobody's ever perfect. But 450 is so low that forget it. You're not even going to be able to borrow money, I hate to tell you. Where you want to be in the range is between 680 and 740. This is very good. It's perfectly acceptable for most lenders. Anything over 740, again, is just too good, and we don't care. But different lenders have different criteria, such as if you're applying for a retail credit card, the criteria might be a little bit lower than if you're buying a house and you're applying for a $500,000 mortgage. They will be a little stricter and ask for a higher FICO score for that. So, let me explain what goes into this number. There are 5 factors, 5 characteristics that make up your credit score, FICO score, which will show your ability to pay. So let me go into each one. Starting with number 1, the most important, paying your bills on time. I know this sounds silly, but some people don't pay it on time, and this counts for the biggest part of your score, which is 35%. Pay your bills on time, even if it's the minimum amount due. By on time, I mean within 30 days of the due date so that it doesn't show late on your credit report. If you do not pay it within the grace period allowed by the credit company, you'll have a late charge, but not necessarily be late on your credit report. You don't want to be older than 30 days or over 30 days. Number 2, this one is very tricky, and it's 35% of your credit score, so it's also very important. This is the ratio of the amount that you owe versus the high credit you are allowed. So if your credit limit is $1,000 and you owe $1,200, you're over your limit. What the computerized formula or algorithm likes to read is that you're below that 50% mark. So try and stay below half of what your credit limit will be. Very important. Number 3 is your credit history. Your credit history makes up 15%, which is still big. How old is your credit? How old are these cards? Why is it important? Because it shows that you have the ability to pay your bills and that you have a good track record. What's considered old? 24 months or older is considered a good, substantial amount of time to establish a history. Number 4, new credit. New credit makes up 10%, okay? New credit, although not as good as old credit, does show that you still have the ability to apply for credit and be approved. So new credit is good, but it's very small, and please don't go out and get a new credit card just to show that you have the ability to be approved. Last thing, again, another 10%. It's your credit mix. People have different types of credit, right? Mortgages, cars, student loans, retail cards. If you have a good mix, it shows you have the ability to pay many different kinds of credit. If you have all retail cards, it just shows that you can pay your store credits on time. And again, do not go out and get new credit to show or lease a car to show that you have a good mix. So, those are the 5 factors that make up your credit profile and make up your credit score. Like any good test, you need to concentrate on what is most important. Here, number 1, paying your bills on time, and number 2, making sure you do not tap out your credit cards, right? So remember those 2 things. Thank you for joining us. This is Robyn Siegel for the Mortgage Minute.